Welcome to It's Later Than You Think, the podcast about living in the moment, enjoying the ride, and making the most out of our lives. I'm your host, Patrick Ailshire, a 40-something-year-old Wisconsinite, sharing my experiences and encouraging you to rethink time, purpose, and everything in between. Let's make the most of right now. Well, how's the bracket looking? Busted? You feeling all right? Are you all basketballed out like I am by this point? Typically, after dedicating a majority of the weekend to watching the games, I've about had my fill. I'm ready to get back to reality, go through the motions of the work week, get back to enjoying my city, Milwaukee, and all there is to experience about this wonderful place. Speaking of, my guest today is a big fan of Milwaukee and is here to share her experiences in the Milwaukee Foodie scene. Here's my conversation with Ashley. All right, my guest today is Ashley from Milwaukee. Welcome,
Hi,
Ashley.
guys. Thank you. Thank you. I'm really excited to be here. Thank you for inviting me, Patrick.
Of course. Thank you so much. And just as a handful of my guests I have had on the podcast so far, Ashley is another one I have never met before. We connected through the Milwaukee Instagram community.
Yep.
And
And I won that Twisted
that's
Path
right.
Distillery. By
I
the
did.
way, awesome. We had a great time.
Very cool. I had a couple of passes I had received from Twisted Path Distillery, which is in Milwaukee. And I was like, oh, I'm not going to be using these anytime soon. So I had a giveaway. And yeah, Ashley was a winner. So it was a
Super
pass
excited.
for two for a tour of their distillery and then samples and things like that.
Yep. It was a really cool, he knew his stuff too. He was a very good tour guide.
Great.
He was very relaxed, chill. Everyone had a great time. And then at the end, it was cool because we got to go in a separate room and we got to try five different, um, whatever that they did make in-house and everything. And it was
Oh, very
hands
cool.
down, really great experience.
I probably would have used it if I had still been drinking because that did
Yeah.
sound pretty good. But I'm like, you know what? I'm going to give it. This is like a fun thing. I think someone that drinks wants to do, and I just like, you know, I want to pass this along and put it to good use.
Yeah, I'm usually a wine person, so
Okay.
distillery was definitely a step up for me. But it was fun. It was a good experience. I've only been to one other distillery tour, so this was my second one,
Okay.
and I was able to keep up. So hey, there you go.
Good. Well, cool. Yeah, this is good. I'm glad you are able to spend some time with us today. I want to go ahead and just get started right off the bat, and you can kind of explain everything, how your Instagram account, how you started that, what
Yeah,
inspired you to focus on the
yeah,
Milwaukee scene.
definitely. And I was just thinking about this yesterday because I was reviewing how did I start the Instagram account? And I even scrolled all the way back to my first picture, and it was a picture of a brunch place in Chicago, actually.
Okay.
And I just I've always loved food. I've always enjoyed food socially, meeting up with friends. That's my always go to, foods and drinks and everything. And I just started posting pictures of oh, this is what I ate today. This is what I ate today. And it wasn't even a blown caption. It was just pictures of what I was eating. It was just here's this one, here's Culver's, here's Cups, here's Portillo's, just stuff
Yeah.
that it was all new to me. And I grew up in Port Washington,
Okay.
which is about 35, 40 minutes north from Milwaukee. And then I moved to Milwaukee for college and everything. And so I had a really close friend. We started traveling around Milwaukee, trying all these different foods. So like Portillo's was new to me, Cops was new to me. And so that was like really exciting for me. That's when I started posting the pictures. And then I just kept up with it. When I hit like 20 likes, I was like, oh, people like this. I'm gonna keep doing it. And so that's kind of how I really grew into where I'm at today. And still, like I'm still figuring out this whole, foodie page and like what are places to visit and everything. So that's, just a little bit of background of how Foodie Queen 414 became how it is today.
That's awesome. I those of
Yeah.
you that may be listening outside of Milwaukee, 414 is the area code of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and
Woot woot.
we have a lot of we have our own 414 day,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
April 14th,
Yep.
obviously.
April 14th, obviously, coming up next month.
Yeah, that has become, I'd say in the last 5 years especially, has become a really big thing. I
Mm-hmm.
forgot how it all kind of started. I felt like 10 some years ago, but it's
I
been a
think
really big
someone
push.
like it. Don't you remember those t-shirts with the 414 on it for Milwaukee?
Well, the clothing brand 414 Milwaukee,
Yes.
which is very similar to my Instagram account. Uh,
Ah, okay. Yep, it
mine,
is.
mine is the 414 underscore Milwaukee.
Yes.
I believe because when I started this account during COVID, the
Mm-hmm.
clothing brand already existed, so I didn't even put two and two together. I think when I
Mm-hmm.
had that, but yeah, they still crank out their clothing.
And the only way I knew of the 414 t-shirts is because I saw the Hispanic side of it, like for Milwaukee. It
Okay.
said 414, but in Spanish, I was like, oh my gosh, that's cool. I need one.
Oh, neat.
So I was like, oh yeah, there's a 414. It's big. It's huge in Milwaukee.
Yeah, it's been the events they've done over the last handful of years have been pretty fun. Where
Oh yeah.
different bars and restaurants are having specials, live music throughout the
Mm-hmm.
day, and they really do a good job with the promotion of it and just to celebrate, what a awesome city this is.
Yeah, and people definitely take pride into the 414. They take pride into from Milwaukee.
You got it.
As they should though, right?
Oh, of course. How long have you had your account?
Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna say 2017.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yep, yep. It's been a slow growing. I want to say, yeah, so I've definitely had it since 2017 because I recently graduated from college.
Okay.
And then, like going to Chicago a little bit more with my friend. And this is where I really started. Like, I live in Milwaukee. What else do I do now? Food. That's what I'm gonna do
Yeah.
instead of like, schoolwork, homework. Here's my student teaching that day and everything. So I was like traveling around Milwaukee and seeing what really is out there.
It's a collective effort to grow on
Mm-hmm.
Instagram. I mean, I
Yes.
have 900 some followers, but I just don't I just can't put the effort in to like
Yeah,
want to
it's
grow
a
it
lot.
anymore.
Yep, it's a lot of time put into it. And it's, like even 900, that's huge. That's a big number. I remember when I reached like 200 followers, I was like, ah, I'm the, I was, sorry, I almost swore.
Yeah, fine.
I was gonna say I'm the shit. That's what I am. So I was really excited, and then it just kept going and going. Is that, I'm sure that's how you felt too with your Instagram page.
I think a lot of people started following me because I have the word Milwaukee in my account.
Yep.
And then yeah, just trying to like put hashtags in it. I just don't like making the videos and the reels and I don't do TikTok. So like it just seems
Horrible.
like it's just a lot of effort. And I'm to a point where like, I like to share maybe when I do go out somewhere or a picture
Yeah.
of downtown or
Yep.
whatever it is. And it's just like, that's going to be as far as I'm going to take this.
And that's exactly like how I felt with my foodie page. Like everyone will just ask me, what are you gonna do with it? And I'm like, I honestly just like eating and taking
Yeah.
pictures of what I eat and telling people, here, it was a great dinner. You should definitely put it on your list.
Yeah.
Um, And that's, that's all I really plan on doing with it, pretty much.
And it sounds like you keep things more positive, which I'm very much the same as far
Hmm.
as there's other accounts that can go out and be real critiques, whether it's
Oh
like
yeah.
someone from Yelp or they're putting a Google review on.
Yep.
I just
Hmm.
don't. I'd like to just spread more positivity around, and so
Yeah.
I generally am going to just put stuff that I'm enjoying. I don't need to again let everyone know where I was not happy eating
Yeah.
because someone else can take care of that. That's not going to be me.
Yep, definitely. And it's just more of like to spread the word of like locally what is in Milwaukee because I don't know if you've noticed this, but like I feel like the foodie drink scene in Milwaukee has definitely took a huge step up. There are just so many different options. It's such a huge variety, different cultures. Like it's such a huge step up than what I saw like back in, this is like even pre-COVID.
Mhm.
Like it was, like Milwaukee, like yes, Milwaukee food is good, but then I feel like after COVID is when it really just flew up.
I think because businesses had to start getting creative to get people in the door.
Yep, exactly.
I mean, it's a tough, still a tough draw.
Mm-hmm.
Get people back downtown, back into the suburbs to come out of their
Yep.
houses. So
Yeah.
that's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
So aside from the food scene, Ashley, what
Yeah.
else do you love about Milwaukee?
So Milwaukee, I've always, and this is, I keep talking about college. That's literally where I started really enjoying Milwaukee and loving Milwaukee. It's because, I grew up in Port, and so Milwaukee to me was going out to Bayshore to go shopping, and
Yeah.
I didn't really go like well past it. Like I just didn't really have any business to be out there. I didn't really have a reason to be out there. And so as I started going out a little bit more in college and not just like out to a bar, obviously, since I'm not the age, but
Right.
it was like, oh, I'll go to my friend's like ugly sweater party at her house. And then, oh, let's go to Ian's. Ian's, what is Ian's? But Ian's changed my life that night. Oh my gosh. And so, just the people in Milwaukee. Some of my closest people are from Milwaukee, and it's just I can't even describe it because it's just such a Milwaukee, it's its own culture, it's its own vibe, and I just feel whenever you're out there, there's always something happening.
Mhm.
There's always great food, there's always great people. Socially, like there's a lot going on. And so I that really drew me in, and that really is what made me fall in love with Milwaukee. Not just like the food, but just everything. It's beautiful. There are so many historic places, just everything.
The vibe for sure, I think,
Mm-hmm.
is a that phrase gets thrown around a lot, but tying kind of into like small Milwaukee about people that you
Yeah.
run into or you see outside of Milwaukee that oh yeah I'm from Milwaukee, and I think that
Mm-hmm.
familiarity and then just the overall I think kindness I would say for the most part of
Yep.
people that you meet out and just wanting to chit chat, and I think it probably goes to the
Yes.
culture of maybe more so than in other states of that. And actually, one of my guests brought this up over a little over a month ago, as far as like people wanting to go out and just sit at a restaurant or sit at a bar
Mm-hmm.
for
Mm-hmm.
hours, whereas like
Mm-hmm.
in some other places that's not a thing that people do. And so I think
Yeah.
that kind of ties into some of that too.
Yeah. And
Um,
it's just a lot of I feel like unity that has definitely been worked on over the last couple of years. I would even when I think of unity, I automatically think of the Hone Bridge.
yep.
It's just like bringing all of Milwaukee together. Oh, there's the Brewers colors. Oh, there's Marquette. Like there's Cardinal Stritch. Like it's a unity. I feel, and I know it's just a bridge. And like, what are you talking about with unity? But it's just that's Milwaukee for you.
That and bringing, I mean, the funding that has been done with
Yes.
the lighting the hone,
Yeah.
and I think they're getting close to having enough to light the other side. But I think
Oh, that's awesome.
that whole push has been great over the last, we'll say, decade or so.
Yeah, I want to say a couple of my friends were working for the home, like promoting it
Mhm.
and everything. And so I didn't, at first when you hear the hone, you don't really think much of it. But now today, oh, I wonder what color it is, as
Yep.
I'm passing the hone. And I think they are having like a Mardi Gras thing. I'm not
Oh,
sure. I
cool.
forgot what I read on Instagram, but I know they're doing some kind of event going on. But that's even cool too itself, the whole doing events, you know?
Hmm. It's a great way to bring people together and celebrate different
Hmm.
cultures and different events, things like that. And so that
Yeah,
just that idea to come together was incredible.
yeah. And it just like it makes you wonder too, where did you even come up with that idea? Why, you know?
Yeah, I'd have to get Ian Abston on here and ask him. He's, I think, the one that came up with that idea. Plus, I'm sure others that I don't know their names uh,
Yeah.
as well. So that's just been a great thing for
Hmm.
Milwaukee, and it's probably one of the better views of the
Yes.
city when you're coming in. It's interesting when I'm on the different freeways coming back into the city,
Yes.
or I'm on a walk or a run somewhere, and you get just
Yep.
different pockets where you're like, oh yeah, I forgot about this view,
Yes.
and
Definitely. I've got to say the best view in Milwaukee, like just truly seeing Milwaukee for what it is like, you know, the bridge on 27th and you're
yes,
passing through like it depends on what if you're going south, like on the right
sure,
side, there's the Brewers Stadium.
yep.
What's the new name of it again?
Uh, American Family Field,
I know everyone will
Miller
say
Park,
Miller Park.
Miller
Yep.
Park. Yeah,
So on the right's Miller Park, on the left, you know, you see the casino, but now like really what sticks out is that bridge.
yeah. I really like Kilbourne Reservoir Park,
Oh
which
yes. Yeah.
are you familiar? Okay, yeah, that
Hmm.
view is incredible. I the only time I'm usually up there is when I'm on a run, and so I just
Hmm.
like end up going up either the staircase or the path, and then I'm
Hmm.
like, okay, I needed to like take a moment
Yeah.
to
Well,
look at.
even anything along that, like there's Atwater Park, like there's
Yeah.
this big sculpture, and then there's like overlooking the lake, all the stairs down and everything. That's a really
Hmm.
cool view too. You know, just everything that's along Lake Drive or along the lake and everything too.
Yeah, the skyline is we're doing pretty well for a mid major city, we'll say.
Hmm. I like it's cool. And here in Port, when we go to the beach, I always make sure I like say it out loud, and I'm sure whoever I go with every time, like, oh my gosh, she's gonna say it again. But I always point because you could see Milwaukee from Port, especially when you're along
Okay,
the lake. Yeah, it's actually really cool.
that's neat. I didn't even
Hmm.
think about that.
Yeah,
They still have the fish days up in Port.
they sure do. And it's days now
Day. Okay, okay.
instead of no days. Like it is
Plural.
days, one, two, three,
Oh
instead of just
wow.
one day. Yeah.
I worked with a guy who was actually my boss at the time in a manufacturing place about
Yeah.
4 or 5 years ago, and he was from Port as well. And he, oh yeah,
Hmm.
fish days this weekend, guys.
It's a
Awesome.
huge deal still here
That's
in
cool.
Port.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Well, hey, how about we play a little pick our favorites
Okay.
from the Milwaukee area? So we'll start with your favorite season.
For Milwaukee, I would say my favorite season was always, you know, Christmas, winter, the
Okay.
holidays, because of all the lights. Like if you go to the Cathedral Square, there's so many
Yep.
lights there. Along the river walk, there's many lights. It's so pretty. And I for visual, it's hard to go with like favorite season because I want to say
Yep.
all four of them because there's always something. For visual, I've got to go with winter, but like for really doing things, I'm gonna go with summer for
Oh,
sure.
there's so much. If you have never been to Milwaukee, that's the time you should probably come. I will
Yep,
agree with Ashley. The holiday festival of lights that we do here is pretty awesome. But as far as things to do, yes, Milwaukee for sure. There's every weekend there's a festival or multiple
every
festivals.
weekend. Yep,
You have to get it in those essentially 3 months of
yep.
June,
They have a
July,
short amount of
August,
time.
or
Hmm.
July, August, September, and while there is still things to do the other times of the year, that's summer is definitely when they're. Oh, I wanted to go to this fest, but it's on the same day as this fest. You got to kind of like figure
Yeah.
out which one you're going to do.
Well, and even too, they come up with like jazz in the park. Like those are really fun to go with too. I know they're in Bayview. There's a Thursday one at the Cathedral Square. I think there's a Thursday one like during the summer. where you just go, you sit, you snack with your friends, you can drink if you want to, just
Yep.
listen to really cool music of like upcoming local artists and everything. It's fun.
Yeah,
It's
it
something
is.
to do. It's relaxing. It's
It's not only do you have your weekend fest, you have those weeknight, whether it's
yep.
Jazz in the Park or there's the one down in
Mm-hmm.
Bayview. There's I know some other areas in the city as well, even downtown like Red Arrow Park area.
Yep.
But they even have these weekday ones as well. So the summer series that they have, and I'm going to draw a blank here, but it's right downtown outside the 411 building. They
Oh, at
have
the
summer series. I forgot what they called it,
I
but it's
don't
like
know the
lunch.
name.
It's a lunch hour thing. It's like
Yes.
something at 12
Yep.
or whatever they call it. And
Hmm.
I mean, that's a random thing on a Wednesday or
And
Thursday and or
there's
Friday.
also that night market too now, right?
Yes,
Yes,
the Milwaukee Night
I've
Market.
I have not been yet because during the week sometimes it's hard for me,
Yeah,
especially at night.
I get it.
And so I have not been yet, but I really, really, really do want to go. Seems it seems big now. Like from where it started, it
Yes.
seems really big and really fun. And I gotta make my way down there.
Yeah, June through September.
Hmm.
The It's a Wednesday night, so I don't recall if it's the second or third. I think it's like usually middle of the month.
Hmm.
I think from like
Yep.
5 to 10. I would
Yep.
recommend if you do go, go earlier.
Mm,
It gets really.
okay.
I've gone a couple times, and it gets very really busy, which is great for the city, but just like navigating through the streets, it can
Yeah.
be a little tricky because there's so many people
Yeah.
down there.
Yeah, because it's so big now, you
Hmm.
know?
But a lot of food trucks, a lot of different
Yep.
vendors selling all sorts of stuff, which is
Hmm.
cool. So,
Yep, that's true.
how about your favorite museum in Milwaukee?
I would say my favorite museum in Milwaukee has always been the Milwaukee Public Museum. And I haven't been in a long time, but that for sure has always been, like there's your staples, old street Milwaukee,
Hmm.
and then there's the Mammoth, and then there's just when you go there, you know what to expect, but it's a fun time every single time. Like there's the butterfly room, like there's the big beetle, that people could sit on and everything. And so that has always been a really fun place for me. Always have really enjoyed it, and I do love, just history in general.
Hmm.
Um, there is one on my list though that I haven't been yet, and that's the Pabst Mansion
Okay.
that I do want to go to as well. I know that they do tours, and I want to go to one during winter time because from what I hear, the decorations inside are really, really beautiful. So that's on my list. Right now it's Milwaukee Public Museum, but TBD.
The Pabst Mansion is cool. I did that during the holidays as well. It
Yes.
was like the first weekend of Thanksgiving. I think is when they
Hmm.
started decorated, and yeah, it is neat to see that too. And they do a nice job with their holiday decorations.
Yeah.
The public museum, yeah, they're going to be opening up the new location. I think by like
Yep.
2027.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm
it's
super
it's
excited.
it's hard to get if you go. It's hard to get everything done in one day. It's so big.
Yep.
The place it's in right now.
Hmm.
It's so big and 3 floors. It's great, but
Yeah.
there's a lot to see.
I always really enjoy at the Milwaukee Public Museum the exhibits that they do. There were
Hmm.
two that I are my all-time favorite, and that was the Cleopatra one.
Yeah.
That one I absolutely loved. And then the other one was like the human body. That was
Okay.
really cool too. Yeah. So those were like and those were like forever ago too, but those have instantly when I think of exhibit, those are my two go-tos.
That's awesome. Yeah, those are. I do.
Hmm.
I do recall the Cleopatra. I don't think I got for the human body, but
Oh, that one was very interesting too. Like you got to see like um a body of just muscle, a body of just nerves.
okay.
It's just really mind-blowing to be
Yeah,
honest.
I imagine.
Yeah.
What sports teams do you enjoy? Is there one that sticks out a little about more than others?
For me, I'm gonna go with the Milwaukee Bucks. Definitely, hands down. I've always enjoyed basketball. I watched it my entire life. I at first did not start watching, like the NBA. I would not watch televised basketball. I was
Mhm.
like, nope, I'm not doing sports, none. But then my brothers really got into basketball, and so I started watching them when I would go to their games. And then I started watching, like, okay, the Milwaukee Bucks. And then I went to my first Milwaukee Bucks game. And this, I know that is going to sound super sad, but my first game was when I was in college. Um, and just don't judge me. And so I instantly fell in love with it. Just like I loved the environment, the crowd, I loved it. It was just like nonstop, like go, 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 go. And that was really enjoyable for me. And so Milwaukee Bucks, I've got to say my favorite. Last week, I think 2 weeks ago, I do you know the Tex Milwaukee chain that they
Yes.
do? Okay, so I do
Yes.
that.
Mhm.
And I did one for the cowbell for the Milwaukee Admirals.
Oh, cool.
And I won 6 tickets. And I brought a bunch of friends with me. And I've got to say, Milwaukee or hockey is starting to be on my radar as well now because it was really cool. It was like, oh yeah, get in there, like kick his butt.
It's a
And
fun
so,
sport to watch. I haven't
yeah.
been huge into hockey, but it is a entertaining
Oh
sport, and the
yeah,
Admirals are
very
really fun,
intense.
and they're a
Oh
good
my gosh,
team.
yeah. Yep. It was a really good game. I've never been to a hockey game before. I've never watched hockey in my life. And then going to the Milwaukee Admirals, I was like, "Ooh, this is cool. I like this."
Yeah, shout out to Experience Milwaukee, Adam and
Yeah.
Steve, and they do the text as well. So that's yeah, good guys.
hmm I've very much enjoyed it so far, so kudos to you guys.
That's cool that they were having that giveaway.
Yeah.
What about favorite festival?
Okay,
This is tough.
gosh. Okay. I've always found myself having the most experience and fun. I've got to go with Mexican Fiesta.
Down
hmm
at the is that down at the Summerfest ground still?
Yep, that's down at the Summerfest grounds. I so my family, we would go um probably when I started to get a little bit older, I really started to take in, like the environment, the culture and everything, and it just, it was it was always beautiful to see. It was always fun. It always felt like a strong connection, obviously, like for me and my family. And what really started to really get my like gears going on Mexican Fiesta is I went to a Pitbull concert. And that was like, this solidifies it, Mexican Fiesta. And even after that too, like I've got to say, last year when I went, the foodie scene at Mexican Fiesta has been like huge because a lot of like, when I started following a lot of foodies on my foodie page, you see all these things at Mexican Fiesta, and I was like, oh my gosh, I got to do that. Now, the reason why I hesitated at the first for Mexican Fiesta for being my favorite is because the Wisconsin State Fair, obviously for the food. And so I did I forgot what it's called. Um, I'm blanking. So the Wisconsin State Fair for the food, they always do this
Oh,
category.
the Porkies or
Yes, I did that. I did
oh,
like
cool.
the pickled lemonade drink. I did the Elvis nachos. Like I very much enjoyed myself there too. So it's like, I don't know. Can I do top two?
Yeah, definitely.
Top
That
two
works.
favorites. All right, Mexican Fiesta and Wisconsin State Fair.
How about your all right, we'll get into specific foods here. How about your favorite pizza of in Milwaukee?
Classic slice.
Classic slice. Okay.
Classic slice. And when I first went there, they don't have this slice anymore because I asked why, and they said it might be like a seasonal thing, and I was like, okay, I totally get it because it's like such a great slice, but it was called Top Gun. It would have mashed potatoes on it, bacon
Ooh.
bites on it. Like it was, oh, loved it. Um, but classic slice, like every time, even like the sodas, the Hey Dude sodas,
Okay.
I think it's called Hey Dude. No, I don't know. It's there's a soda there that I think it's local in Wisconsin. It's like the best soda too. So it's like pizza, soda, garlic knots. Like what can be better? And they serve beverages there too. Like if you want to like have a beer with your pizza. And it's just there's arcade games there. I've got to say, classic slice. You have my heart. Thank you so much.
How about best burger in Milwaukee for you?
Mm. Oh, I don't know. I just
There's a
okay.
lot.
Burger. Okay, I got it. I'll do a little bit of backstory. It's not like a hardcore sit down restaurant like make reservations. It's a custard place actually, and it's Oscar's Frozen Custard. I'm not sure if you're familiar.
Familiar. Yep.
Okay, their burgers. I absolutely love their California burger. So this is like my go-to order. Yes, I have a go-to because I like have to have it. So it's always the California burger, and then it's their French fries, which are phenomenal too. And then I always make sure I get a scoop chocolate ice cream with brownie pieces in it. Hands
Solid
down,
choice.
best burger. But don't get me wrong, Milwaukee, I love everyone's burger, so
I'm putting her on the spot here, so I've been meaning to try Crave in Shorewood. Crave Cafe.
okay.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Crave Cafe, Oakland, on Oakland. Yep, in Shorewood.
I haven't heard of that one. I'll have to add it to my list.
4.7 on Google
There you go.
reviews. 595 reviews.
Oh, what kind of burger did you get?
I haven't gone yet. I've been meaning to go. That's
Oh,
what
you've been meaning to go.
yeah,
Sorry.
that's fine. I think they're the Crave, I guess it's called the Crave Burger. So
Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely look into that one.
we got a few more. How about dessert?
Oh, you're killing me here, Patrick. Ah, okay. Dessert. Okay, what's weird is that I always have to be in the mood for ice cream.
Okay.
But I have to say, like, you have to catch me in the mood to be like to have ice cream. But I have to say my favorite dessert, okay, I have two. I'm gonna say the second one first, and then I'll go
Okay.
with my first one. So my second favorite is the Portillo's chocolate cake shake. I'm such a huge chocolate person, and so that has always been like
Okay.
a go-to, especially if I'm like in the Brookfield area and everything. Um, and then my first favorite dessert is at, I want to say, where was it? Oh yeah, okay, I remember. It was at Crafty Cow in
Okay.
Bayview, and it's a peanut butter chocolate cheesecake.
Oh,
Mm-hmm. It was amazing. It was, oh my gosh. I definitely cleaned my plate off with that. But it was just like, oh, it was I loved it. It was my favorite.
that
Now
sounds
I'm hungry. Now
really,
I gotta
really
go get
good.
one.
I know.
Right? Talking about this food.
That's awesome. All right. Let's do a couple more. We'll do your favorite happy hour in Milwaukee area.
In the Milwaukee area, happy hour. I haven't done one in a while. Ooh, that's a good one. I'm not sure if Camp Bar still does the happy hour that I went last time for, but Camp Bar usually has pretty good happy hours. And I remember I used to do a lot of them there. Um, like after work and everything. I'm gonna go with Camp Bar.
Camper.
Yeah.
And then, all right, last one. One of your most memorable coffee shops.
Oh, And
There's
I
so many.
love coffee too. Oh my gosh. Ah! Okay, I would say the most memorable right now, just because it's so recent, is I was invited to try out for a soft opening for this new coffee shop in the east side of Milwaukee. It's called Hardaz, and I
I've
want to
heard
make
about this.
oh, their Turkish coffee, Patrick.
Uh,
Chef's kiss.
I saw.
It was
I think I saw your. Did you have a post on this?
I did.
Okay,
Yes.
I
And
need to go
it
there.
was really cool behind the scenes watching them make the Turkish coffee. It was really cool. It was really interesting because he's saying for Turkish coffee, you cannot boil the water. You have to
Oh,
like simply like hold it, not touching the stove top, but holding it over, just kind of just holding it there. I want to say for a minute and then it's done.
huh.
Yeah. hmm I
Interesting.
I could be getting it wrong. I vividly remember him saying you cannot boil Turkish coffee because then it's not Turkish coffee at that point anymore.
Oh, that's
Yes.
interesting.
And it was the best coffee I've had. He said, if you're a coffee junkie, which
Yeah.
is diagnosed over here, um, that's like that's your top tier, which is true.
It's probably really smooth.
It is very smooth, not bitter at all. And
Yeah.
it's just take it.
I don't know if you've been to it. It's on, and I'm drawing a blank on the name, but I know there's a location on Brady Street, but it's a Brazilian coffee. And
Oh,
I thought I had it just on, it was one of a summer event. I was just,
yeah,
they had like I think it was actually like the Brady Street, like kind of a flea market or
yeah,
farmer's market thing. And again,
yeah,
they, I walked over there from where my apartment is, and
yeah.
it's not huge, anything like,
Mm-hmm.
your South Shore or your Tosa or West Dallas farmers markets. But
Yeah.
I walked over there, nice day out, and they were out on the sidewalk, and
Mm-hmm.
I got it just from there. It was already roasted, and it was really, really good.
Oh,
I was really impressed. But
I
I am excited to
definitely
try
gonna
that
have
place you
him.
just
Yeah, you
mentioned.
have to. Oh my gosh. And it's so hard to pick just one coffee
I
place
know.
because everyone that I've been to, I've been like mind blown. But this one was most recent, and this was my first time trying Turkish coffee, so
Yep.
I'm gonna have to go with that.
Good choice. I've been wanting to get there ever since I saw your video. I'd never
Yeah,
even heard of that place, so that's
it's been amazing. And they have really cool hours too. I was talking with the co-owner for a little bit, and he was mentioning that like we love to serve the coffee, but we also want to make sure that there is a common space for people to just have a have a cup of coffee, relax, read a book, not
yeah,
just like during regular coffee hours, the
right.
7 to 3, but like the after hours, like 7 or like I don't even know when I
I think
think
they're
they
open
open
till
at like
midnight.
7 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they just extended to midnight. And he was like, that made a very big point. I mean, like, who doesn't want to enjoy a cup of coffee at 9 p.m., Like, I've definitely done it before. No judging.
No, not at all.
But, like,
Are
it
you
just
able
made
to
it
fall
fun.
asleep
Oh, yeah.
still pretty well? Okay.
Yeah. It's
I'm
fun.
similar. Like I mean, I just think around like family stuff, like the holidays,
Yep.
particularly where after you eat your Thanksgiving or your
Yeah.
Christmas or whatever it is, and it's like, hey, someone puts a pot of coffee on, you're like, yeah, why not?
Yeah. With
It's
your
a
little dessert. There you go.
exactly. I feel I'm now maybe I'm not getting the quality of sleep necessarily, like with REMs and
Yeah.
how the caffeine affects your mind, but I can still fall asleep
Oh, yeah.
still very quickly after coffee if I have it late.
Me too. No problems with that at all.
And those of you listening now, it is daylight savings
Oh,
officially
yeah.
started at 2 this morning or whatever, and
Yep.
that was
hmm
not ideal.
Yeah. It's just,
More coffee
I woke
today.
up. Yeah, I know. I woke up instantly. Coffee.
Yeah. That's
Needed it.
most of my days.
Yeah.
All right, so let's switch things up here. Let's say for whatever reason you decide that Milwaukee is not going to be a place you want to live anymore. have you traveled to any cities that you're like, this is where I would love to live?
Okay, so long story short, when I moved to Milwaukee for college, so I went to Cardinal Stretch, um,
Oh, rest in peace.
and I know, Rip. I know everyone was so sad. But at first I was gonna commute to Cardinal Stretch, but then I found myself, like always in Milwaukee, and so I figured, hey, the next semester I'll just move on on the campus, and that's what I did. Um, and then after moving on campus, I moved back home, like after the school year was done. And then I started talking with two of my friends, one from elementary school and one um, from one of my Milwaukee friends.
Yeah.
Uh, and we decided all of us go to school in Milwaukee, so let's get a house, like a duplex. Let's rent one out. And so that's when I officially have moved to Milwaukee, and I stayed in Milwaukee for, oh goodness, I've lived there since 2016. You're gonna have to do the math for me, Patrick. And I
About
moved
eight.
back COVID 2020. So 5
Yep.
years. Okay. Whew. Thank goodness. So I lived in Milwaukee for 4 to 5 years, and then COVID happened.
Yep.
This is when I was living by myself, just going through some things, and so I moved back home in Port, and that's where, my heart has stayed. I've always told my family, I was like, I'm going to move out of Port. It's such a small town. There's nothing here to do. I want Milwaukee. So I moved to Milwaukee. I love Milwaukee. But then, like home has my heart.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to go back home. Port Washington is beautiful. You really like appreciate it, like truly appreciate it once you get a little bit older. Um, but I still find myself in Milwaukee. I want to say almost every single day, maybe a couple days I'm still in Port. And so I did not leave Milwaukee because I wanted to leave. I just kind of like it
Sure.
fell into I kind of had to. Um, but if I were to move from Milwaukee, Port Washington.
Port Washington. Okay.
I know that's like a cop out,
So,
but
so still in the suburban region.
yes, the
Um,
suburban
okay.
areas. Hmm.
So, what brings you happiness in life?
I for happiness, number one, it's my daughter, family. That's like your biggest thing. My village of people. As long as you have a village of people, you are truly appreciating like everyone there, everything that is there. And then happiness, just comes along with that. And
Of
I've got
course.
to say, like, just I know it's so cliche, but like the little things, like you brought me a cup of coffee, love it. Oh, what a beautiful sunset, love it. Just like every like little thing as to, the the views,
Hmm.
the culture, the food,
Yeah.
just like for me, I'm a very social person, and so what truly really makes me happy um, is when I'm really connecting with my people, with my village. That's truly what makes me happy. Now there's like a bunch of other things that could go into
Oh
my
yeah.
happiness, but like
It's a
down to the heart, yeah.
it's a deep question, but yes, I would agree. Similarly with the small things, the little things, and it
Hmm.
ties into kind of what the gist of this podcast is about. With
Yep.
it's later than you think. It's enjoy those little things. It's take
Yep.
not taking things for granted because
Hmm.
as far as we all know, we only get one go round, and
Yep.
uh, I think that's really special. And I like similarly to you, kind of feed off the energy of others,
Oh yeah.
um, and I would say yes, those conversations. I actually kind of speaking on to that point, I went and got coffee with three strangers yesterday.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yes, love
I
it.
I love to say that I just showed up and started talking to random people, but I there's this will be a shout out for the Mesh app.
Okay.
Mesh. So from my understanding, this company started in Madison, and now
Oh,
they're out to
okay.
like, let's say like 10 cities around the US, and they just came to Milwaukee within the last few months. And
Mm-hmm.
so the premise of, from my understanding, the premise of this app is that you sign up, your kind of your age range, and obviously where you live, and every Wednesday, once you sign up, which is free to do that, every
Mm-hmm.
Wednesday they send you a text and say, "Hey, are you interested in meeting up for coffee this weekend at 10 o'clock?" And it's always at 10 a.m. on Saturday. That's just kind of how
Okay.
they do it.
Yeah.
And you're partnered with up to three other people. I think it's
Oh,
always supposed to
okay.
be a group of four essentially,
Yeah.
and then by like Thursday or Friday, if you accept, they give you the location.
Oh, okay.
And then you have an act, and then by Saturday morning. So as the first one I did was yesterday. So yesterday at
Mm-hmm.
8 a.m., they text you who you're meeting with. And then
Okay.
you have like an ability to chat, like say, "Hey, I'll be there in 5 minutes," or "Hey, I grabbed a table."
Yeah.
But it was three other people that right around my age group, and it was great. Like it was, and
Wow.
they set it up for about an hour. But you're obviously welcome to.
Stay
And this
how
was
however long.
we were at Collectivo at the lakefront, and
Yep.
one
Mm-hmm.
guy had to jet out right at 11 because he had to go to work, and then the other two I was talking to, we ended up staying for another hour. It was like,
That's like right up my alley. I absolutely love that. I'm gonna have to like look into
yeah.
that.
So I think I pay, and I don't know if, again, I haven't looked specifically, but I think that, I don't know if it was a deposit just to like hold your spot, but I paid like five
Yeah.
bucks to
Oh,
like.
there.
So I'm assuming that's not a refund at all, but still, I thought just to try it out, and the people that I had met yesterday, one of the guys
Mm-hmm.
had done it a couple times. He said, "I don't do it every weekend. It's just I, randomly will be like, oh, I'll go out this weekend for
Mm-hmm.
that." And so it sounds like every week you can do it.
That's
And
really cool.
yeah, so it's
I love
Mesh
that.
app.
Mesh app.
Yeah, Mesh. And I just typed in like, because I wanted to look at more of their website. So I think I typed in like Mesh coffee app, and something came up. So
Okay.
yeah.
And how did you hear of it?
I want to say on Reddit, most likely. I was
Oh,
probably
okay.
doing some sort of deep dive on like coffee
Right.
meetups or something like that. I don't know. It might have been it might have been an Instagram ad that popped up. I'm sure you'll
Mm-hmm.
get that on your phone now that we're talking about
Mm-hmm.
it. They're
Yeah.
always listening. So that happens a lot to me. We're talking about someone, about some artist, and then
I
my
know, and then it
ads are
pops
all
up.
tailored. It's scary, but
The other day I was talking with my friend and he mentioned the Mitchell Mall. Do you
okay.
remember Mitchell Mall?
Uh-uh.
And then, okay, so it's on the south side of Milwaukee, and it's this small building, and it's just called Mitchell Mall.
Okay.
And on my TikTok, as I'm scrolling, Mitchell Mall shows up, and I'm like, wow, because I've never been in Mitchell Mall, but he has, and he's like, do you want to go? And I'm like, not really right now, maybe some other time. But then that shows up, and I was like, all right, now we know what it is.
They're listening.
Always.
And I didn't realize that you can go back on, like, if you have Alexa, you
Yep.
can go on your. No, it just heard me. If you can go on you can go on the app and look at your search history.
Really?
Yeah, so every time
Oh,
you've asked for Alexa, it'll give you the whole history.
oh, there you go.
Which mine will be like, play dog music, like
Right. Oh my
music for
gosh.
dogs. When I like leave the apartment, I want to have some background music on, or play some piano music or whatever.
I'm
And it's
like
like,
curious now, what does dog music sound like?
it's usually like a meditation, or it's like Amazon has like a piano, like kind of
Really?
a classical station.
All right.
Because occasionally I'll
Okay.
switch it up and put, like, I feel like talking to my dog. Do you want to you want to watch TV? And I'll put on a YouTube that, like, a streaming for, like, it's like up to like
Yeah.
12 hours. I'm never
Yeah.
leaving my dog that home alone, but I am like, oh, this will just run for the few hours that I'm gone. And
Yeah.
my dog, anytime there's music, or I'm sorry, there's a sound in the hallway, she wants to like bark at the people walking by. So I try to like have music on to kind of
Oh, yeah, yeah.
drown that sound out, or just to. I feel like if I was being left alone for so long, I'd want someone to leave some music on for me.
Right? Something entertaining, something to like preoccupy me.
All right. Let's go with one last question here, Ashley.
Hmm.
What has been your greatest life lesson that you've learned up to this point in your life?
I've got to say, my biggest life lesson has a lot to do with my daughter. So I'm a single mom, and this is why I'm so heavy on, your village, your people.
Yep.
They are always there for you 100, 1000%, regardless, and they will support you no matter what. But I've got to say, my biggest life lesson was rearranging my priorities.
Yep.
Um, you control you. It's just, and I know that's such a common thing to say, but for me, I feel I've always been mature for my age, growing up. And so I've always been a people pleaser. I want to make people happy, but ever
Hmm.
since my daughter, it's been she comes first. She's a
Yeah,
priority.
of course.
Everything is for her, everything what is best for her. And like it could come down to like the people I'm talking to or like work or just something. It just in the back of your head, okay, what's a priority? How am I going to go about this? I can control what I can do. And that's what I've got to say for my biggest lesson.
That's awesome.
I
It's
know,
ex-
yeah.
no, that's great. And I think, yeah, you kind of alluded to it, but we do truly create our own happiness.
Yes.
You can be, in a whether it's a relationship or with your
Hmm.
family or your friends and everything, you can say, I love everything going on. But if you're not truly happy, no one else can really do that for you.
Yeah. You got to bring your own happiness.
Hmm.
Hmm.
And having the responsibility of being a single mom as well. And I think
Hmm.
that's incredible. And it's kudos to you for not only doing that, but also just going out and finding your own joy. Because yes, that's going to be the first place is going to come from your daughter, but
Hmm.
you also need to find your other passions
Yep.
in
Yep.
your
And
life
that's,
too. And
yeah. You got to take care of you if you are going to be taking care of someone. You got to be sure that you are good so that you can be good for who you need to be good for.
well said. Ashley, before we wrap this up, I want to give you an opportunity to anything else you'd like to add regarding your Milwaukee Instagram.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys ever like need a coffee suggestion, food, cookie, ice cream, just anything, like follow Foodie Queen 414. Reach out whenever if you want to like a recommendation, whatever. And it doesn't necessarily have to be food, but just like anything in Milwaukee. I feel like I grew up away from Milwaukee, but I feel like I truly did get a full on experience with the time I was in Milwaukee, and still to this day, Milwaukee has my heart. So, sending love to you guys, and let's send some love if you want to. Thank you guys.
Thanks so much, Ashley. Appreciate that. And I want to thank you for taking some time out of your weekend to join me on this podcast. This has been a great time. Thank you.
Me too. I have one thing to say.
Of course.
This was my first ever podcast.
Oh,
So
nicely done. That's
I
awesome.
was so nervous and I was so excited. I was like, oh, I'm gonna mess up. I'm gonna talk too
No,
much. I'm not gonna talk enough. But Patrick, truly, thank you for inviting me.
of
Thank you for even like
course.
putting it out on your page because that's how I got the idea when you were asking for people to come and join. I was like, me, I've never done it, but I want to do it. So
Well,
thank you for like
of
giving me a
course,
good
yeah.
experience.
Good. Yeah, you were not the first one that has had their first experience. So it's been kind of cool to offer that as well. And this is my maybe 13th or 14th, episode it'll end up
Hmm.
being. And yeah, it's a learning curve for sure, but it's been great. I do love, as much as I enjoy my solo episodes, I have really enjoyed having a handful of guests on at this
Hmm.
point so far, and the different backgrounds, the different interests and passions people
Hmm.
have. It's been
Yep.
fun to kind of switch it up. So I was really looking forward to having someone from the Milwaukee scene
on here that could share their, and honestly, I know you're saying that, oh, I'm in Port Washington, like that's still Milwaukee. Like you are
Yeah.
in the branch of, I consider, like, whether it's Milwaukee County or even the extensions of that. I mean, even
Mm-hmm.
someone that lives out in Waukesha area, like you're so close to Milwaukee. It's kind
Yeah.
of like the southeastern Wisconsin pocket
Yeah,
that I consider that.
definitely.
And all your, obviously your content from your page shows a lot of that. So, well, cool. So, again, thank you, Ashley, and
Thank you.
we'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Well, there you have it. As you heard, there is plenty to enjoy about Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and the surrounding areas. If you have never been, I highly recommend coming to visit. Strongly encourage you to come during the summer. There are things going on in wintertime, but the weather is not the best. I want to thank Ashley once again for being my guest. If you enjoyed this episode, feel free to check out the others, subscribe to the podcast, and feel free to share on your social media and tell your friends. We'll see you next week.